According to Bowman and Deal, we have five propositions for the political frame. The first one is that organizations are coalitions of assorted individuals and interest groups. Number two, coalition members have enduring differences in values, beliefs, information, interests, and perceptions of reality, which means that we are all different in how we think and what it has our best interest in. Most important decisions involve allocating scarce resources. Who gets what? Number four, scarce resources and enduring differences put conflict at the center of the day-to-day dynamics and make power the most important asset. And number five, goals and decisions emerge from bargaining and negotiation among competing stakeholders jockeying for their own interests. So we start with the first proposition, which is coalition, interconnections. So we need one another. We depend on one another on whatever we're going to go ahead and do. Now, even though we all share the group, whoever influences the most is the person that has the power. So depending on how much power you have, is how much you're going to mobilize that group in comparison with that who have no power. We can see that in terms of whenever we're at school, whoever the teacher that is able to go to the principal that knows her is the one. Whenever we have a big decision to make, we always go and tell that person to go and speak to the principal to go ahead and get us to do whatever we want to do, which we all form a coalition, but she has the most power. Now, there is two sources of power. One's structural, which is you have the authority. The second one is the human resource. It emphasizes less on power and more on empowerment, which is working together, openness, collaboration, participate, and together make up decisions. Now, besides authority, there's a lot more sources of power. We have the position power, which is the authority, which because of your position in your job, you're able to go ahead and tell everybody else what to do. We have the control of rewards, coercive power, information, reputation, and personal power. Now, the other way that we can influence besides our positions are through alliances and networks. So we have to start building a network, and from there we have to go. That way we can have people on our side. The key difference that I saw in the article was attentiveness to building and cultivating ties with allies. So the more network you have, the more network that you have, the more people in your network, the more successful. We see that right now, even as when we were going through the teaching program, we had to network, we had to know, we had to go, for instance, to the graduation fairs, to the career phase, so we can see. One thing that I did when I was networking in that was that I would go to every campus and I would drop off my resume, and I made a brochure with all my information and everything about me. So that's the way that I networked. And then also as a substitute, I would go and volunteer as well. Okay, one thing is the combination of scarce resources and divergent interest produce conflict. So that's true. If there's something missing, of course everybody's gonna fight, and we're gonna want that. One thing that happened to us was something that's very scarce in our school is, for instance, the copy paper. So at the end of the year, we were all fighting over whoever had the most copy paper. Before that, we were fine. When it came to that, we knew that something was that the resource was not there anymore. So we all were fighting over it. Now, normally under any other frame, conflict is very bad. under the political frame, however, it's a way to encourage new ideas and promote innovation. So instead of being closed-minded, we are open-minded to it, and we should work together to get to resolve the conflict by each providing our own ideas. Those who get and use power to their advantage will be winners. Okay, now the second article that we read was Manager as a Politician. Now, according to the article, all managers, we have to set an agenda. We have to set the agenda. We have to map the political terrain, network, and to form coalitions and do some bargaining and negotiation as well. Now, in the beginning, it describes to us two different kinds of managers. Two managers, either you're too naive or too cynical. One of them was the Pollyannas, that believes that most people are good and kind. I think I would fall under one of those. I don't know if that's good or bad, because most of the time it does not happen. Or we have the naive ones, which is they think hiring is fair. If they work hard, they're going to get up there. Or the cynical players, because they present whatever the employer wants. So they go with the game. According to the article, none of these are good. They say we have to be in the middle. Now, it says the managers have to have a good agenda for change, which is vision, where your vision has to balance the long-term interests of the key parties. Now, what I think for us as principals, we have to balance whatever the interest is of our community. So, for instance, whatever the stakeholders, our parents, our students need. Now, we also have to have the strategy for achieving the vision while recognizing the competition in the out forces. Keep knowing what others think and what they care about. Then we go into mapping the political terrain. Determine the channels of communication. So how are we going to go ahead and communicate with other people? With that, I know with some things that we do is, for instance, we call our parents, we do newsletters, we update our website. Now we have to identify the principal agents of political influence. So who is that one person who is gonna influence the most? Who do we need to be close with to get what we want? Analyze possibilities for mobilizing internal and external players, and anticipate counter strategies so that others are likely to employ. Basically, the second article just talked about, yes, we have to have an agenda. We have to know what we want. But most importantly, what I got from the article in that it emphasized was building our network. Building our network. We have to build the network. And it also talked about how, It also talked about how we need friends in order to go ahead and get things done. Now, what about those people that are always causing problems? I have one. It says four steps to go ahead and 4 steps to letting go. So tell them the vision, state your best understanding of their position, identify the contribution to the problems, and plan. Show them your plan without making demands. Now, it does say that the principles have to be moral, in which way we said it is a very difficult job. Now, principles have to have mutuality to be able to have good moral judgment. Mutuality, is it mutual? Generosity, generality, is it in general? Openness and caring. So the second article mostly talked about that, the networking, and how a lot of leaders how if you're a leader and you show people that you care, they're more than likely to respond to you than if you don't. Now, finally, the third article talked about balancing your life and work. I think as a principal, that is one of my biggest fears, because we saw a lot of the videos that you have shown us says that once you're a principal, you don't have a life, your marriage comes down. You don't have times for your kids. You miss them growing up. And I think that's what I would be scared of. But like the article said, you have to set your priorities. I liked when one of the people there said, well, create structure, that we have to set priorities. I think that right now that's one thing that I'm trying to balance out, even going to school, where I set my priorities. So, for instance, usually I wait, either I wake up really, really early in the morning and do my homework, or I wait until my son's in bed and stay up late. Because my priority right now is helping my son grow. It's helping my son grow. One thing that I saw was that Bill, that he was on the Bill, he was a principal for 22 years, said the buses rolled before I was born and they'll roll after I'm gone. So I think that family is very, very important, because the school, whether you're gone or not, it's going to keep on going. Okay. And then I also liked how Jan Juan said that it's okay to walk out and say, I just can't deal with it. Because even as a teacher, we do have those moments where you come home, you cry, yeah, you let it out. Then the next day, it's a fresh new start. So I like that, creating structure. You're set like your strong priorities. Okay, so set your strong priorities. And yes, so I liked. It was scary to see that, and to see that one that said that they were going through marriage counseling. But I think overall, you need to know that yes, you also need to balance your your work life. One thing that I liked was that she said that in the article, it said that she would just uh, stay in her office, and as soon as she left, that's it. She wouldn't think about it anymore. And I like that perspective, because in that case, that you don't burn out either. So for future principals, some recommendations I would make is, number one, that I read from both of the articles, is to build the network. Build the network, and because our job is focused around relationships in our community and with our students, and balance your work and your personal life. It can all be done, but we all need to work hard.